Hello Internet, Seth Skorkowski. Hope everybody's had a great holiday. We have been extremely busy around here, but I managed to find a little bit of time to squeeze in one video between the holidays. So today we're going to be doing a dice review over the Q Workshop Random Hit Location die. These are large 12-sided dice that instead of numbers feature a human figure on each face with a different area marked for determining random hit locations. The faces are left and right arm, left and right hand, left and right leg, foot, torso, neck, underbelly, which we all know that when that one gets rolled, one of your players is going to say, "Ha ha, you got hit in the nards." I pass no judgment. My players and I are all 12 years old ourselves. And finally, head. I first became aware of these dice when Mark Morrison from Campaign Coins, as well as his celebrated game writer, was posting some pictures on Twitter of him and his players using this for Call of Cthulhu. I thought they looked kind of fun, so I decided to pick one up. Okay, I picked up two. I don't know why I needed two, but I needed two. Don't judge me. So I have one in beige and black and another in black and white. Q Workshop does have several other colors that they're available in. As I said, they are bigger than standard D12, so you can identify it very easily without accidentally picking it up and rolling it when you're trying to grab a bunch of D12 to roll them. Also, the larger size gives them a nice weight. I really like the feel of this die. Now, I have done dice review videos before with metal dice, but really those just evolve into some sort of, silly montages of zany science experiments like racing them or freezing them and all that stuff that's really just about being funny and fun. This is not going to be one of those reviews. This is an actual product review for a change. Now, I've used both of these dice for a couple months now, and I haven't noticed any issues with them. They all seem to be random and roll everything correctly. But for the sake of this review, I decided to give each of them the float test, where you float them in salt water to see if any of the sides come up higher. The tan one performed perfectly. However, the black and white one did not. I don't know if it was misshapen a bit during the polishing process, or maybe if there's an air bubble inside of it, but the float test showed that it favors the throat, as well as the two other adjoining faces. So there is some sort of flaw that is causing it to come up with these three sides more often than the others, primarily being the throat. I wouldn't have actually guessed that by how it rolls, because how it rolls seems to be completely random. However, it did make a difference when it did the float test, so just take that for what it is. One of them came up perfectly, the other one did not. Don't know if it's actually affecting it when it actually rolls. My only actual complaint that I have toward the dice is that they're not as easy to read as I had first expected them to be. In the pictures, they're always blown up nice and large, and they're always facing upright. However, in games, they're never going to roll perfectly upright for your perspective, and they're never going to be in that perfect position. And also, the picture on each face is a little bit busy, with a target behind it, and it's all shot through with artistic cracks, so it isn't instantly recognizable as to what hit location it's talking about. So instead of being able to roll it out in the middle of the table, and all your players being able to look down and instantly recognize what hit location we're talking about, usually what ends up happening is somebody has to pick the dice up, they have to kind of rotate it around to go, right arm. This could have been remedied had the dice come in two colors and the hit locations being their own distinct color. However, having multiple color of inks does increase the production cost quite a bit, so I understand why Q Workshop didn't do this. But I do recommend that anyone that picks one up either paint or use a red Sharpie to go ahead and note those damage locations in a different color. I think that the dice are fun. I like them, but they're not going to be for everybody. Part of that depends on what game it is that you're going to be playing with them. Most RPGs don't have hit location mechanics, or they might have them, but they might just be an optional rule that's hidden somewhere in the back of the book in case any players want to use this, but they aren't necessarily a core part of the game mechanics. This is for games like Dungeons & Dragons or Call of Cthulhu, or really any role-playing game that just goes by as standard hit points, and they don't really go by damage locations for the sake of armor or hit points. So instead of digging through the book for some buried chart in there, if you want to find out a good random hit location, then you can just pick up one of these dice and solve it in a nice fun way. Some games, however, do have hit locations as an integral part of their combat system because they do have different armor values or different hit point types of damage depending on where the hit was. And if those games do not use a D12 to determine what area was hit with locations, or they don't use a D12 that uses the exact same positions that the Q Workshop one does, I wouldn't use the Q Workshop for that, because that game is actually set up and designed and has been play tested to use a different sort of hit location generator, and if this dice doesn't match it, you can end up throwing that game off a little bit. So the system that you're playing matters, but even if your game doesn't have integral hit locations, I'm never going to say that this dice is going to be something that you should just run out and get. It's cool, it's fun, I enjoy it, but it's nothing that I'm going to tell anyone that they just need to go out and buy. This falls into the category that if you're making an order on Amazon, if you're on Q Workshop's website and you're making an order for something else, yeah, go ahead, add it to the cart, nice little prize for yourself, and it can be a lot of fun, and it's definitely worth it. Or if you're at a convention, or if you're at your friendly game shop nearby and you suddenly see one of those dice sitting on the counter, yeah, go ahead, pick it up, definitely worth it. I have links down below to both Amazon, the Q Workshop page, if you want to check those out, maybe order one for yourself. I do have some giveaways that I'm planning on doing once my channel hits 50,000 subscribers. One of these dice is what I'm going to be giving away, is one of those. Probably going to do the black and tan one because I do know that one actually does come up perfectly random. I'll also be doing another video sometime where I go ahead and test out, give the float test to all of my normal dice. I've now performed this test twice on different dice, and both times it surprised me as to the results, so I'm curious to see how all of my favorite dice are actually going to fare against it. Anyway, that is it for this video, pretty short and sweet. So until next time, players, have a great day.